лесу родилась елочка, в лесу она росла. Зимой и летом стройная, зеленая была. Зимой и летом стройная, зеленая была. Метель ей пела песенку, спи, елочка, бай-бай. Мороз снежком укутывал, смотри, не замерзай. Мороз снежком укутывал, смотри, не замерзай. This was actually a Russian Christmas song about a yellow, about a green tree, Christmas tree. I hope you like it. I do. My dear friends, I'm happy to see you again. Well, don't really see you, but I'm happy to make this video for you again. It makes really a lot of fun doing this, and this time it's early morning of 24th December, which means Christmas is like coming, like right now it's here, almost here, which means I have my green jacket and I'm going to celebrate soon. So this time I have something very special for you, and it's about Christmas gifts. Let's talk about best Christmas gifts you could give to a person who is making music, producing music, doing arts, sound arts, a creative person who uses a lot of stuff, a lot of equipment. I was thinking about what could be the best presents for me or for any musician like I am. And I came up with some ideas. First of all, it's very important to know if your friend who you want to make a gift, if he or she is electronic musician or something else. I'm going to talk about electronic musicians who travel quite a lot sometimes, well, who travel and take their music equipment with them. So it will be my tips about great Christmas presents for a musician. First, the last, eternity. The first, the last, eternity. Why not giving a book as a present? I know, yes, we are musicians or artists, whatever, but we do read books too. We don't just produce stuff, but we also consume the things other people produced. So I've discovered a book which is quite old already. It's around 10 years since it's on the market, but I found it around a year ago. I didn't read it yet, but I've got an online edition, digital edition of this book, and the author is someone who you might hear the name from. It's Oliver Sacks, and his book called Musicophilia. The book is around 10 years old, but if you didn't read it yet, I would really recommend. I always watch inside and I pick up some things, like some stories. It's a book full of stories, tales of different people with different neurological conditions, and I find it really inspiring to to find out about things like that. Maybe it's something what I am interested in very much, all these things related to the brain. If you're searching some special present for a person who you want to impress, then maybe such a book would be a good idea. Or other books of the same author are very interesting as well. I think The Man Who, what was the name of the book? Oliver Sacks again. It's he's a neurologist actually, but he writes about those neurological things and different conditions happening to real people who he worked with. And there was a guy who kind of thought his hat would be his wife. You know, it's like really weird, but it's true. These are people around us. And the book was called like that, I think, The Man Who something like thought his wife would be a hat, something like that. The name is probably a little slightly different, but something like that. And in Musicophilia, he tells about different stories. Like, for example, a man whose memory could, I think, spend only 7 seconds of any information but music. So he could remember music for longer than 7 seconds, but anything else he couldn't, which is quite crazy if you think. And there was also an entire group of children with Williams syndrome. It's a special condition when you have a hyper musicality from your birth. And another thing, I actually wrote it down because I can't remember things so good sometimes, but music. Amusia, yes, there was a condition called amusia. It was someone who would listen to a symphony and he wouldn't hear anything but the clattering of pans and pots, which is also the truth actually if you think of music instruments in terms of materials they are made of. So then why we are wondering, of course these are metals and woods and different strings and stuff like that. This is like, oh my god, it's so interesting when some people have such different perceptions. So I'm totally inspired by this person, by this neurologist, and by his books, and I think it might be an interesting gift for Christmas for someone who, again, who doesn't want to spend a lot of money because the musical instruments or anything else what you would first think about when thinking about gifts for musicians or sound producers or artists. These would be very expensive things. The next thing I would really recommend is subscriptions. There are all sorts of different subscriptions, but I've chose 2 which I think are the most important, and I would really be happy if I would get such a present, but I already did this for me. Well, basically I am giving myself a present by subscribing for these things. The first thing is Soundcloud Pro. So why it's important to have Soundcloud Pro, I think it's obvious. If you're a musician and you want to share your music not the videos, but really share your music, audio. So, and grow your audience at the same time and stuff like that. SoundCloud is really the first thing where you would upload your stuff, and I think it makes sense to have a subscription for a pro SoundCloud, which costs about €6 a month, and you can control your audience, or you have the access for the statistics. You can watch who is listening to you, where exactly, which countries, sometimes even cities, what devices were used to listen to your music, like was it more of mobile devices, or was it something else? You can control it basically, and the time limit of your uploading your audio is limited to 6 hours, which is quite okay. I think I didn't use that much of my SoundCloud Pro yet. The next thing is, of course, it's Spotify. It's like, come on. Yes, I know there are people talking about it, like I don't want to be a part of this and stuff like that. I don't support it. And I really understand. Yes, I do. But I don't see another way to share your things on the internet other than Spotify. It's important not only if you're a musician, but also if you teach music. Basically the majority of musicians do teach to survive, actually. Some of them even like doing this, like I do. And I think it's quite important to have access to all kinds of music. Like when we're working on some things, I use YouTube as well, but also Spotify a lot to listen to different kinds of albums and new things of other artists, to analyze other music. It's the great tool. So Spotify is around 10, I would say €9 a month, a premium. And there are also things like Spotify for students, which is around 4 or 5 euro. And Spotify family is 15, 14 around it. So yes, just think about which Spotify you need more. If you live alone, then you probably will use premium or premium for students if you're still a student. If you're not a student anymore, yeah. If you share a flat with the others, or you have a own family, you can definitely have Spotify family, which is then, like if you're living up to 3 person in a flat, it's 14 euro. You will pay at the end something around 4 or 5 euro. So basically like a student account. So I like the idea of having Spotify. I like the idea of having Spotify, which is a new tool. It's like the new, just like now, I just invented a new tool how to listen and share music, which is Spotify. Earth, Wind and Five. Oh my god. Next thing is a backpack. Well, there are all sorts of backpacks on the market, and they are all very different. It depends what you're doing, of course. If you or your friend who you want to give a gift, Christmas gift, is something like a controller DJ, controller musician, live musician musician working with live sets or playing live sets. So it means it's not a kind of DJ who plays the records, vinyls or CDs or whatever, but I would talk about DJs or electronic musicians playing their live sets, because it's basically what I do. I don't play records at all. I use controllers to play my own music, and that's why I would recommend to buy a proper backpack for people like us, especially if you are not a huge person like I am. Well, I'm not. It's very important to have a good bag you can carry. You don't fall, like, you know, it shouldn't be very heavy, so it should be a good construction with good stripes and good organized departments in the bag, so that you can carry all your stuff you use. So first thing, every musician every live electronic musician needs is a laptop. The second thing is sound card and all the cables connecting, like cables. And there would be a controller, different kinds of controllers, something like Ableton Push, or it can be a sampler or a drum machine, Native Instruments machine, or something like Electribe, Korg Electribe MX1 or something else. So it depends which one you use. So if you are buying a present for someone, you know what he or her, she or he is using, then check about the measures, and the next thing would be to know what exact amount of cables do you need. So you probably need a case for cables. It's the best thing to organize your stuff in the backpack, I think. And okay, about backpacks, I've watched tons of things out there, and there are very good products. A mono Flyby bag for 229 euros, which is, for me personally, it's a little too much. Well, right now I wouldn't buy it for me, but I found something else. Magma Riot backpack for around 150 euro, which is already better, much better. Then I found a great thing for not so much money, like 110 euro, Techtools controller backpack. It looked really great. I watched a review about it and I liked it. I think I might buy this one. If not, the next thing, what I also found out, and I'm pretty in love with Saab pack for 90 or 100 euro. I liked also the visually how it looks. I think the price is perfect and it would fit to all the stuff I use. And finally, I want to thank you again for being with me, for watching me, for listening to me. And I will write all the links down there in the description with all these products and books and stuff I recommend. I will see you in a week, next Sunday, as always. I wish you a happy, Merry Christmas. Happy, Merry Christmas. And have a lot of cakes baked and eaten. Have fun with your family or friends. And enjoy music, and I wish you a great day, great Christmas, and see you in a week. Bye. Bye.